Hello, and you are more than welcome back to Little Miss Drop Stitch, and today I've got a free tutorial for you. It's a reversible lined tote bag, okay, and I've got a visitor here. This is Obi, and that's because this is his tote bag, and it's nice and sturdy and reversible, so if he wants paws one day, you can have that, or little doggies, and he can fit in all his favourite things. What have we got? We've got Obi's ball. No, I think, we've got Obi's treats. Good boy. Stay tuned to find out how to make it, and on the website there's printables as well for the pattern. The first step is to cut out our fabric, okay? There's a couple of ways you can go about this. The first one, if you don't want to think too much, you can go onto the website, littlemissdropstitch.co.uk, and print out tiled sheets of the pattern and stick them together yourself. There's a video and I'll link that below about how to do that. Alternatively, it's just rectangles, so you can just use your tape measure and mark it in whichever way you choose on your fabric. Okay, I'll flash the measurements up on screen. Okay, so your main bag, the rectangle, will need to be a height of 42 centimetres and a width of 37. The strap would need to be a height of 74 centimetres and a width of 5.5 centimetres. Okay, and I've worked it out. If you're using it on, fabric that you've bought and gone out and got, or you've got your full bits left over, so it would need to be 75 centimetres, so 3/4 of a metre in length. That's what you'd go and buy and ask for. And in terms of the width, it's 100 centimetres. I'm going to fold mine to cut 2 out at a time, but 100 centimetres, so that will be fine for your 112 centimetre or 44 inch off the bolt. Okay, and for the main bag fabric you need 4, and the strap you need 4. Okay, if you're going to do it reversible and lined, like I am, and not in scraps, then you will do 2 of each. Okay, so 4 total, but 2 of each print for the bag and strap. Okay, and in terms of the amount of fabric you'd need 2 lots of the 75 centimetre fabric with the 100 centimetre at least width. Okay, so let's jump in. So for my fabric, I'm going to make 2 different bags. Okay, the first one will be for Obi, and I love these, so I'm going to put these together. Who doesn't want a two-tip fabric? And it's reversible as well. He's a yellow lab, so that can be for Obi. And then for Reggie, he is a sheepdog. So I'm going to do this, and then this is really cute with sheepies on. Okay. So now I've got my fabric piece, and if you're following along with the little piece of paper I've just flashed up, okay, like I said, we've got our 2, okay, lots. It's 75 centimetres long, okay, and it's the 112 width. You need at least 100. Okay, fold it in half, and we've got about 56 centimetre, okay, about 22 inch width, okay? So imagine this is how your pattern pieces will go on. Just be careful with this one, because you have got about a centimetre's grace if you've got the 3/4 of a metre, okay? The way you want to position it, it's dead easy with cotton. Okay, this is cotton fabric, so we don't want it to pull, okay? So if there's a stretch like there, that's not what we want, okay? If it's fabric like this that you can tell there's a direction, and that'll be nice and easy for you as well. Okay, cut it out in whichever way you see fit. So I'm going to use pattern weights. Okay, pattern weights and rotary cutter. You could pin as well. Obviously don't forget, we've had a little bit of paper, I've given you the measurements. If you want to just use your tape measure and mark, absolutely fine as well. Okay, I just don't like my fabric moving. Okay, so cut that out, and we're going to do it twice. We've got one for the outer and one for the lining as well. Okay, I'll see you back there. Okie doke, I've cut all my bits and bobs out, and I've still got on my fingers, so that's a good sign. I've got Obi's bag and Reggie's. As to not confuse us, let's get rid of Reggie's, okay? We're just going to focus on Obi's for now. Hopefully the little measurements at the start will make sense now, okay? So I folded my fabric in half. That was just to save time as well, to cut 2 out at a time. So we've got an inside and outside strap, but the bag is reversible, okay? And we've got 2 of those and 2 in this print, okay? And the same for the main bag as well, okay? So 2 in the yellow and 2 in the doggies one. Okay, so 4 in total of the bag, 4 in total of the straps, but 2 of each print. Let's take it to the sewing machine. First thing is we're going to sew around the main bag sections, okay? So we need right sides together, okay? Now if your fabric's directional, you'll know which is the top of the fabric. Leave that for now, okay? So we're going to sew around first side, second side, and the third. So that's left and right side and the bottom. Okay, so sew around those, leave the top free. Okay, it's going to be a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance on our machine, and I've just got a stitch length of 3. Don't forget to back tack as well at the start and ends. I would encourage you to use pins or quilter's clips as well. Leave enough space at the corner to turn, and then we're on 1.5 centimetres seam allowance again. So then when it's right sides out, that'll all be nice. Okay, and I want you to do the same with the other side fabric as well. Okay, so remember it's longer with the height, okay, as well. So repeat with that. Now you've sewn around them all. Don't forget you've left one end open, and that is the width across, okay? That's left open. Now what I want to do is we've not turned our piece out the right side yet, okay? Just cut the corner, okay, on the diagonal. Not too close, okay, leaving a bit, and that just makes it easier for when we do turn it out, okay? And repeat with this fabric as well. Now we're going to move on to our straps, okay? And we need a little bit of thought going into this, okay? So I want a strap on one side to match the yellow fabric and one on the other side to match the doggy fabric, okay? So this time we're not doing same fabrics together. Okay. So right sides together, and if it's directional, just be, conscious ones, not the wrong way around. And just going to sew, okay, down each side, not across the short width, okay? And 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. Brilliant, okay, cut our ends. Then what we need to do is turn it the right way round, okay? If you wanted to, you could trim a little bit off, that might help, okay? You can use a whole manner of tools. I use knitting needles, just my fingers, use a pencil to push it through, whatever way, hook by crook, get it turned through. So this is much quicker than the half an hour that I've just spent. Okay, then pull, got a bit stuck. There we go, fantastic. That's a bit quicker, isn't it? There we go. So now I've done both of these, we're going to go over to our ironing board. Yes, ironing is tedious, but it absolutely, and it's taken me years to learn, but it does create a really nice finish, and it's easy to sew as well. What I want us to do first of all, nice and easy, give these a press. Okay, the straps, they should be 1 inch wide. Okay, that ruler technique was definitely better than fat fingers and a pencil. Okay. Now the next bit, remember we chopped the corners off our bag as well. Okay, what we're going to do is just press this seam open, and that's because we want it to all fall together nicely when we put the layers together. You could, if you wanted, kind of zigzag stitch, pinking shades, etc. But to be honest, this project doesn't really need it because we've got everything lined. Unless it's a kind of wholly unsuitable fabric like a satin or whatever, challenging fabric that does fray. Okay. So when we open it, it'll be like that. Nice. And don't forget to do the same with this one. There is thread absolutely everywhere now. So I've done my liner, we've pressed it. Let's put that to one side, okay? And we pressed the strap and the outside as well. I've turned the outside around and just poked the corners with a pencil to get them turned out. Okay, I've already put one strap on. Now let's do the other. Again, thread absolutely everywhere. So I want it to be with the blue on the outside, okay? But that's not how we're going to pin it. So the way to pin it, we want it like that, but actually we're going to need it downwards, okay? Like that. Let me just move it so we know you can see that, okay? We want it like that when we're wearing it, but we're going to pin it like that, because that's then in our seam allowance, so when we turn it to the nice right side, it will be like that. Okay, I've done mine about 2 inches in, okay, from your side seam. If you've already done one side, just match it up with what's going on your other side. Just be careful to go through one layer, not two. My top tip would be to pin, okay, 90-degree angle, so when we go and sew, here we are, when we sew over that, that's just going to stay in place, okay? We don't need to be moving the pin out the way and moving our strap. Okay, what you're going to do now is called basting, so that's just kind of it can be temporary stitch, but just to hold something in place. So I'd stitch that with your presser foot just against the edge of the fabric, so 1/2 centimetre seam allowance, and what that means is then we know there won't be any attacking stitching showing in when we go to do the top later, because that's within our seam allowance. Well, as I was filming that last bit, and we were nearly there, it didn't tell me that the SD card was full on the camera. So in Grand Blue Peter style, here is one I made earlier, okay? And we're very nearly done, so I will show you on Reggie's bag, even though I said at the start we weren't going to confuse things doing Reggie's bag as well. Looks like we are. But how fab does it look? And it's reversible as well. So if we're feeling like yellow paw prints one day, we can just turn it inside out. Okay, pop the corners out, and then there we are. So let's show you how to finish that now. So we've got our straps on. So on Reggie's, the green's going to be, even though it's reversible, the outside. Okay, and there is thread absolutely everywhere. I did stop and have a chocolate bar just to gather myself for filming it again. Brilliant. So that's the outside. We've got our liner. The liner we've not turned around yet. The top here. Okay, open it up. And this is the bit that doesn't look glamorous when I do it. Okay, put your main into your liner. Okay, so there's no turning around or anything too complex yet. Okay, I'm going to wrestle with this, and then I will see when it's all put in. My couple of tips would be, okay, first of all, tuck them straps in so we're not sewing them. Okay, so just put them between both layers. And then it's to pin the side seams, okay? So where we pressed them really nice and lovely before, okay, match them up and pin. Again, 90-degree angle just means you can sew straight over them, so nothing's kind of shifting and moving out the way and getting out of place. Let's get those both in there. Then what? We are going to sew all the way around, but we do want to leave about 2.5 inches for us to open our bag, turn it inside out. So we do need to leave a hole. I'd sew over the straps, make it easy for yourself, okay? So I'm going to put 2 pins, just so I know where to stop. And if you're pinning all the way around, maybe put a little mark or something so you know where you're starting and ending. Okay, 1.5 centimetre seam allowance all the way around, about 5/8 an inch. So off we go and sew. Fabulous. So take any pins out. And then what we can do, we can turn it around through this opening. If you've got thicker fabric, you might want to leave a bigger opening. Okay, then put the inside, okay, back in there. Already looking fabulous, but we do have, where have I put it? There we go. We do have that hole still. So what I want us to do is top stitch, okay, all the way around the outside. And that's just a very close stitch, okay? And it's one of my favourite things to do in the sewing machine actually. Very close stitch near the top. Okay, as long as you're within that seam allowance, because we've done a nice generous 1.5 centimetres, you could actually do it, you know, at the edge of your presser foot or whatever, if that's easier and neater for you. Okay, so all the way around the edge, give it a press if you want as well to make that easier. Just about had enough thread as well. If you've back tacked, okay, you can just snip. There we go. So that's nice and insecure and in place. Okay. See, can you see me? Okay. That's nice and secure and in place, and we can have it reversible like with this one as well. I hope you enjoyed making it, and I can already see myself making absolute loads more with, you know, little squares, patchwork, on my flat quarters, so I can't wait to get stuck into that. Please do like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff as well, and I really want to see what you've made as well, so do share with us on social media your tote bag using the hashtag LMDSTote. So that's hashtag LMDSTote. Take care.